Have you ever heard of Laughing Jack? He is a very famous creepypasta with a horrible backstory. The story you're about to listen to are the accounts of a user named Snuff Bomb and her 5-year-old son James. This will be the first episode of many to come in our creepypasta podcast series. It was the middle of the summer one year, and Snuff Bomb was watching her son play outside. He is described as more of a quiet little boy and keeps to himself. He also really enjoys playing by himself. While Snuff Bomb was watching her son, she decided that it would be the perfect opportunity to go inside and feed her dog, Fido. As she was feeding Fido, she heard James talking with someone outside. Now it did not cause her too much concern. She was actually excited, hoping that James, her little son, made a friend. She would walk outside, smiling and happy, hoping to see another kid playing with James. But there wasn't anyone out there with him. James was all alone, still playing with his toys. Now Snuff Bomb thought to herself, she could have swore she heard more than just James's voice outside. A little confused, she just passed it off as him talking to himself. Didn't really know where these second voices came from. Maybe she was just hearing things where it was him pretending to make other voices, what she assumed. As she was contemplating that, she realized it was lunchtime. So she took James inside the house. As she was making him a sandwich, she asked James, "Who are you talking to outside?" James would just stare at her for a moment and say, "His name is Laughing Jack." Now this would confuse her for a second, and she didn't really know what to say, because that is a very strange name. But assuming it's a child's wild imagination, she would ask him, What does he look like? James's face would light up as he told her he was a clown, Mom. He has a big swirly nose, long arms, and wears stripes. He smiles a lot too. She would just laugh a little bit and smile at James. She thought it was too cute. It was very cute that her son had an imaginary friend. But knowing her situation as a single mother, she wished more than anything that James would have a real friend. Now the rest of their day went about as normal as any other day. And as it approached 8 p.m., it was time for James to go to bed. Snuff Bomb would get him all tucked in and everything. She was tired as well, so she would go to bed not too long after. Now that night, Snuff Bomb would have a horrible nightmare. She dreamt that she was walking around in a very dark, old abandoned amusement park. She would look all around her and see nothing but broken down rides and tents with holes cut all in them. That's when she started to run as fast as she could. But no matter how fast she ran, she couldn't go faster than normal walking speed. She started panicking. She would tear down tents looking for a way out of this amusement park. That's when she would enter an old gaming booth. All the stuffed animal prizes were still there, but they were all hanging by nooses. Horrified, she would turn around and see everything had turned black and white. That's when everything went quiet and dark, and she started hearing She would be in this trance-like state, singing along and just following the sound of the music. She was walking, but couldn't see anything, couldn't hear anything but the music and the sound of her own heartbeat. Now the trance would lead her right to the spot It was a spotlight in the center of darkness. That is when she started seeing these black silhouettes moving around just beyond the spotlight. She would panic, coming out of her trance, and move to the center of the circle. As she watched the figures get closer and closer, the light would eventually reveal their faces. As she stared into their eyes, she realized they were children. Mutilated and disfigured children. Some were burned, some had deep cuts in their faces and on their necks. They started appearing more frequently and enclosing the circle. That's when she became engulfed in the crowd of children. That is when she jumped up in her bed. She was pouring in sweat, breathing really heavily, almost in a just pure panic mode. She would have to calm herself down from crying and just wondering what that dream could have meant. As she looked around her room, she saw some of James's action figures sitting on her dresser. They were all sitting and staring at her. This made her assume that James had waken up earlier, and he was waiting on her to wake up. So she grabbed his toys and headed to his room. As she opened the door, she would see that James was still asleep. Putting the toys in his toy box, she shrugged it off. Maybe it was because of the nightmare that she was so paranoid. I mean, he could have left those toys at any point of the day yesterday or the day before. So she would make her way into the kitchen and start making her and James some breakfast. Not too long after, James would come down and sit at the table. She would tell James that he needed to stop leaving his toys in her room, but he would say that he didn't do it. She would laugh and say, "Oh yeah, then who did?" James would say, "Laughing Jack did." She would laugh a little bit more and tell James that Laughing Jack needed to keep his toys out of her room. Now, if you're enjoying these podcasts, definitely don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, comment down below, what creepypasta should I do next? Now, after breakfast, James would go outside. Snuff Bomb took this as a time to kind of relax. She was in the living room with the curtains open on her big glass door so she could watch James pretty easily. As she sat and watched TV, she would doze off. Now, she wouldn't wake up until a couple of hours later. As soon as she woke up, she would check the time and completely freak out because where is James? She needed to go check on James. How has he been? It's been a couple of hours. She would run out the door and James would be nowhere to be seen in the backyard. She would start yelling his name. As she was yelling his name, she heard giggling in the front yard. So she immediately went out the gate and saw James sitting on the sidewalk. She was relieved. She would walk up to James and ask him, "How many times have I asked you to stay inside the fence in the backyard?" But before he could answer, she noticed he was eating something. She grabbed it out of his hand. It was a bunch of hard candies. Now, this would concern Snuff Bomb a lot. She would ask him, "Where did you get these candies from?" But James just stared at her. She would ask again, getting a little louder. James would put his head between his knees, and he would start sniffling a little bit, and he would go, "Laughing Jack gave the candy to me." She would make him throw all the candy away. As she drug him inside, she would tell him that Laughing Jack is not real and explain how serious the situation was, taking candy from a complete stranger. We don't know this stranger. We don't know where this candy came from. We don't know what they've done to it. You only eat stuff that I give you, is what she would tell him. James would start crying and plead with her. "Please believe me, Mom. Laughing Jack really gave me this candy." Upset, she would cook dinner, and after dinner, they would both go to bed. That night, as Snuff Bomb drifted off to sleep, she thought about how James never lies to her. Why would he lie to her now? Then she was thinking that it was probably their neighbor Linda who gave him the candy. As she thought about this more and more, she would drift back off to sleep. That's when all of a sudden she would hear this loud banging from downstairs. She would jump up and grab a knife that she kept in her drawer next to her bed. As she ran down the staircase, she could hear noises coming from the kitchen. As she entered the kitchen, she saw Fido, their dog, hanging from a light fixture with his stomach cut open and candy coming out. The whole kitchen looked like a tornado had torn through it. She would drop to her knees and start screaming and crying over Fido. That is when she heard James screaming back at the top of the stairs. Snuff Bomb would quickly grab her knife and fly back up the stairs. Horrified by what she might find in her sunroom, she began screaming as loud as she could. As she entered the room, James was in his bed, screaming and crying, drenched in his own urine. His whole room would be torn apart. Snuff Bomb quickly grabbed her son and ran out of the house. She ran to her neighbor Linda's house, where she called 911. When the police arrived, they would search the house. They found no point of forced entry, and the rooms that were affected, like the kitchen and James' room, the police assumed the person responsible was freaked out by the noise of someone coming up the stairs, that they had hopped out of James's window. They pretty much did nothing for her and just left, telling her if she heard or saw anything again to give them a call. That's all they did for her. Now, she knew there was no way someone could have walked in the house. She had locked all the doors, all the windows were locked. So she is just wondering, how did they get there? Why did they do this to my dog? What is going on? The next day, Snuff Bomb would not let James leave her sight. She grabbed his old baby monitor and put it in his room and got the biggest knife from their kitchen and kept it on her at all times. As the day started, it ended even quicker. The time that Snuff Bomb was dreading was here. It was time to try and put James to bed. Now, tonight she was going to let James sleep in her room because she could not have a repeat of last night. She needed to make sure she had eyes on James at all times. As he fell asleep, she would turn on the baby monitor and go downstairs. Now, she knew tonight she was not going to be able to sleep at all. She was so freaked out that that's all she could think about is Fido, her dog, and what had happened the night before. She sat in the living room chair for a few hours. Every little noise made her jump. She finally calmed herself down enough to possibly try and get a little bit of sleep. As she was about to head back up the stairs, she heard a noise coming from the baby monitor. As she put it to her ear to see what she was hearing, a clear and distinct laugh came from the baby monitor. Snuff Bomb would run up the stairs and into her room. As she entered, she would see James nailed to the wall with his chest and stomach cut open and his organs dripping out of his body. His eyes and tongue were removed. As well, somehow, he was still alive, but barely clinging on. As she rushed to him, a figure would appear between them and start laughing. It was a tall, slender clown, white and black, with a cone nose that had black and spirals going down it, and also was wearing a black and white striped shirt. She would immediately charge at him with her knife, but would go right through him. She ended up stabbing her own son right in the heart, ending his life. Laughing Jack would laugh even harder and disappear. Now, Snuff Bomb is currently serving an unknown sentence in a hospital for the criminally insane. She still hears the Pop Goes the Weasel song outside of her window every night. What do you think? Are creepypastas real? Is Laughing Jack real? Did Snuff Bomb really lose her mind and brutally murder her son? What do you think? Comment down below. And also comment down below what other creepypastas you'd love to hear in my podcast. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.